Michael Hutchinson is a member of the Mississippi Cree Nation, north of Winnipeg. He's spent much of his career telling the stories of Indigenous peoples and advocating for First Nation families and communities across Canada. Michael joins us to explain the significance of a memory bundle, the center of the action in the latest of his Mighty Muskrats Mystery series, the case of the Burgled Bundle.
Hello, I'm here to tell you about the case of the Burgled Bundle, book 3 in the Mighty Muskrats Mystery series. Now, I wrote the series because I wanted to reach out to young Canadians who are usually very positive and very smart and want to build a better Canada for everybody. And so I wanted to educate them about the First Nation Canadian history and how that trickles down into families, how that First Nation Canadian history trickles down to affect young First Nation people who are around maybe their age. It's one thing to know history in your mind. It's another thing to understand how that history trickles down into people's hearts. And so that's one of the things I wanted to do with the Mighty Muskrats Mystery series. The other thing I wanted to do was have First Nation young people be able to see characters and communities that reflected their own. When I grew up, I read a lot of books, and I never really saw many books that reflected my own experience, my own struggles, and my own community. And so that's one of the other things that I wanted to do with the Mighty Muskrats Mystery series, so that young First Nation can see themselves reflected in the books and maybe help build a little pride for young First Nation people. Now, in the case of the Burgled Bundle, you have the 4 muskrats. Now, the 4 muskrats, I want to introduce them to you. First, you have a Tim. A Tim is the largest and the fastest running and the most physical of the muskrats. He's always hungry. And then, sort of representing the you have Sam and Chickadee, and they sort of represent the intellectual and the emotional side, and they sort of switch back in those roles, and so they often switch back into leadership roles as well. And Sam is Tim's younger brother, and Chickadee is their cousin. And then you have their other cousin, Otter, and he's the quiet one. Now, Otter was raised by their grandparents, so he knows the most about Cree culture. He also knows a lot about bushcraft, so he knows about canoeing as well as tracking and how to track animals as well as people. And he also knows a lot about ceremony, and that comes important for the case of the Burgled Bundle, because this one is a lot about ceremony. Now, in this book, the National Assembly of Cree People comes to visit the Windy Lake First Nation, which is a fictional First Nation, and the Cree people are spread all the way across what is now known as Canada. They go right from James Bay in Quebec all the way to the eastern shores of the Rocky Mountains and into the Rocky Mountains, all the way in Alberta. Now, my First Nation, the Grand Rapids First Nation, is sort of right in the middle. We're known as the Swampy Cree people. That's our dialect of Cree. If you look at a map of Manitoba, there's the Great Big Lake, and then there's the North Saskatchewan River that goes all the way across the prairies and into the Great Big Lake, and my First Nation is right at that intersection. So the Cree people are a mighty nation that stretches, that's very far. And so families and representatives all across the Cree people have come to the National Assembly of Cree People in Windy Lake, and so there are celebrations of Cree culture, like crafting and other skills. There are physical games like racing and baseball tournaments, but there's also ceremony. And one of the things that happens is a elder from Treaty 12, which is a fictional treaty area, brings a treaty bundle to Windy Lake to build unity among the Cree people. Now, a memory bundle is a bundle of some things that might be put together, and each one of those little memory items inside that bundle comes with a story. And so when an important event happens to a First Nation or a First Nation they'll create a bundle and give that to a family to take care of. And so a treaty bundle of the Treaty Bundle 12 holder comes to Windy Lake to build unity among the Cree people and have the treaty bundle be part of a 4-day ceremony where it's unpacked and all the stories that go with it are told. But unfortunately, the bundle goes missing. And thankfully, the Mighty Muskrats are on the case, and they get help from their very wise grandfather, their stoic and hard-working Uncle Levi, who is a band constable for the Windy Lake Police Force, and they all work together to find the missing bundle. Or do they? Do they find it? Who knows? Well, now each book, Mighty Muskrat book, takes place in a different season. So the Case of the Windy Lake takes place in the springtime. The Case of the Missing Auntie takes place in the summer when the Mighty Muskrats go to the city and go to the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation and learn more about residential schools. And then the Case of the Burgled Bundle takes place in the fall time. I just finished writing the Case of the Rigged Race, which takes place in the winter time. Now it involves a dog sled race that takes place on Windy Lake, and somebody is trying to mess with the race and make certain that it isn't fair. And so again, the Mighty Muskrats are on the race, and they have to figure out who and why someone is trying to mess with the Windy Lake dog race. I really hope that you take some time and learn more about the Mighty Muskrats, maybe pick up one. I want to encourage all those young authors to sit down in those seats and start writing. You know, you got to take the chance. And I hope you all have a great time at the rest of the festival. Be well, stay smiling.
Why not upload your writing, your videos, and your ideas to the Creativity Club on the Telling Tales website? Thank you for joining us. See you again.